Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils Thursday!
Hey, you got the day right.
Oh, I know. Is this thing on?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is this thing on? You can hear me? How about you, Beer Baron?
I can hear you loud and
Do you
clear.
hear me, Beer Baron? I'm working with the new studio right now. It's a little weird. Trying to do the controls. Big trade today. That's the title. Big trade.
Yeah. Talk about a trade.
Big trade. Which is why we're doing a special edition of the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Let's Go Devils group. We shared it to a couple groups. A couple groups deleted our link. Can you believe that?
Why would they do that?
I don't know. I sense they're mad about the Henrique trade. But we're going to go through the entire analysis of this big trade today with the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, were you guys stunned? Were you guys stunned?
I was, yes.
Yes, indeed.
I was not expecting to hear of a trade like this.
Okay.
So,
No, it came out of the blue, and especially because last night he had his whole the Rico Suarez.
Sorry about that. I'm still learning this new studio.
no, it's cool.
Yeah, last night he had his big event, the Rico Suarez, Movember little gala.
Yeah,
and
that was.
I can't believe. I wonder if he woke up hungover today and got the news and was like, "Yeah, maybe I'm still drunk," or.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too, because he did have that event, and I saw some members posted some pictures from that event, and it looked pretty cool. But at the same time, it's like, the Devils were behind that, and then here they are the next day. It's like he's gone. He's traded.
Which supposedly, I was reading that the Ducks and the Devils have been working on this trade for the last 10 days. So. From what it sounds like, Henrique had no idea.
That's crazy to have no idea, and it's business though. That's the thing. It's business.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's a great trade too.
I know. And I was looking at reactions of both friends and people who just reading whatever I could find today online. People either love this trade or hate this trade. There seems to be no in the middle. It's a love or hate trade.
Do you think that they hate the trade because of who it is, because it's Henrique and it's because he's, a fan favorite? Or do you think it's or they hate the trade because they don't think that they got good enough value back? Because honestly, we got a top 4 defenseman, for Henrique and Blandisi. I think that's a pretty decent deal.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are reacting to the who it was and Henrique, because he became a huge part of Devils history by scoring that goal in overtime in Game 6.
Oh, yeah.
So he, not for nothing, he has cemented his place in Devils history and Devils lore. So that'll never go away. Which I actually got a text from a coworker after school today, and basically saying like, "Oh, great, another jersey I can't wear anymore."
Yeah.
And my response to that was not really, because Henrique scored one of the most historic goals of all time for the Devils. You cannot argue that. So that's one of those jerseys that we're going to see worn at the Rock for years to come. I don't have a Henrique jersey, and if I did, I would still wear it. I would have no issue wearing that jersey. It's not like a Freesy jersey. Yes, yeah, exactly.
I have a Henrique jersey, but the funny thing about it is I got it as a gift, and the person that gave it to me and it's a legit jersey. It has the fight strap. It's it's through and through like an authentic jersey, except that it's a size and a half too small for me. And since I'm too fat, I can't fit into it. So I just kind of let it hang out in the closet with all the other jerseys. But you're 100% right. Even though he's gone, that's one you can definitely wear. That's one that you could definitely walk around the stadium and wear. And hey, he's a UFA in a year and a half.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. And his I saw he posted something. It may have been, let me see if I can find it now. It was either on Facebook or Instagram. Let me see if I can find that, what he posted. But it was kind of here it is. I found it. This is Adam Henrique's post on Instagram today. It was about 6 hours ago. And it says, "Thank you, New Jersey. I will never forget you. I hope you'll never forget me. For now, ... It's over," in quotation marks. Which, that hill forever, that picture from the side and from above of him scoring on Lundqvist will ever be some huge part of Devils history. So there may be a return to Adam Henrique when he's a free agent.
He'll be 20, 28, 29 years old, so he won't be too out of his prime, and even if he came back as a third line center.
Yeah. And we've spoken about this before. We have a glut of forwards who are scoring, but we've been lacking on D, and that's been a constant theme on this, on our podcast for the last couple of weeks. We're lacking defense. Defense is not our strong point, and at some point we were going to make a trade for a defenseman, and we have spoken about what would the optimal trade be for a defenseman. And well, we have our answer, what the Devils have been working on. If this trade has been in the work for 10 days or whatever you said, this is it coming all to coming all to be.
Yeah,
so
and like you said, legitimately, we were saying this 3 weeks ago, that they needed to make a move. We said maybe it would be Pavel Zacha or someone like that. Once you start getting the pieces back, once you get Zajac back, Johansson's coming back. Supposedly he's coming back in Colorado. So now that these guys are coming back, and you have Michael McLeod in the wings.
Yeah.
Like you said, we had a glutton of centers up the middle. And just to kind of point out, so one of my friends who's a very loyal listener to us, I have to give him a shout out, my buddy Bill. He constantly sends me messages and says, oh, you guys should talk about this and that. He was just texting me now something along the lines of like, no, it was Henrique, getting traded, and the day before it was Eli getting benched by the Giants. So it's not been an easy go about in this area for the last couple of days. But it's just crazy. You see somebody that's such a fan favorite get shipped out, especially the day after he has like such a big event with the fans, and it's sad. But I think, the difference between this and Eli is Eli getting benched was. I'm still pissed off about that, but I mean, this is just a move that makes sense for both teams.
Yeah.
It really makes sense for both teams. They needed a forward. We needed a defenseman. I think it's an pretty even trade.
Yeah, and I was trying to read up on the pick situation. It was kind of confusing. There are conditions to the pick as far as it's something where if they re-sign him in like 2019, we get a pick in some regard. It was really weird, but it was all on the condition that they re-sign him. But we have so many picks that it's like, we're going to be giving them away like candy at some point. I feel like just to get more players.
Well, these picks are working for Ray Shearer right now, right? I mean, that's
I know.
why they have the depth. And, if you think about it, and I'm going to have to steal a line from Cracker. I talked to Cracker, our good friend Cracker, today, Shorts guy. He basically summed it up like this, and I never thought of it this way, that basically the Devils traded Adam Larson and Adam Henrique for Taylor Hall and the big guy, Sammy, coming in from the Ducks, right?
Yeah.
And if you take that comparison, I mean, what do you guys think? Would you do that trade?
Well, I just kind of want to point this out real quick. So my brother who pointed this out to me earlier today, Ray Shero has gotten, for the Devils, he's gotten Taylor Hall, Vatanen, Kyle Palmieri, and Marcus Johansson. And he got it for Adam Henrique, Blandisi, Adam Larson, 2 second-rounders, and 2 third-rounders. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. And let's not forget that one of those second rounds they got for free. One of those third rounds they got for free for Lou Lamoriello and for picking up Savard's contract.
Yeah,
he's done one hell of a job of bringing in some pretty high-end talent and
for almost
turning
nothing.
Around this franchise. Yeah, for pretty much for almost nothing.
I'm not gonna call shipping Adam Henrique out west as nothing because he's a big part of the history of this franchise. He, for me personally, and I know probably for the two of you, he completely destroyed any and all lingering, bad feelings about 94.
Oh,
yeah, he
God.
killed. Yeah, all the three of us were at that game, and
I've never been happier in my life.
That completely. Like I was at Game 4 in '95, and that was wild. But being there to see Adam Henrique score that goal and to destroy all of that, bad, all the bad talk he got from Ranger fans since '94, all just to get that monkey off our back about that '94 wraparound. It was awesome. And it was the negative of that. It was almost like that was our Stanley Cup, was beating the Rangers in Game 6 in overtime because we showed up in the finals and did nothing. So as far as I'm concerned, that season ended in Game 6. I still have never watched anyone lift a Stanley Cup from 2012 because I refused to watch it. It just didn't happen because it wasn't us. So Henrique is forever in Devils history as that's one of the greatest goals of all time.
1000%. I mean, and it was like one of those. It was one of those moments, like you said, that erased so much. And then when you were in that stadium, I've never heard The Rock get that loud before, and that was like the most exhilarating feeling I've ever felt at a game. And I've been to a couple Stanley Cup games. I've been to some pretty big games before, but that one in particular, and you nailed it on the head. That was after that. Even as a fan, I felt like, okay, I'm at peace. Like whatever happens in the Stanley Cup right now, I'm totally at peace. Like I feel so spent emotionally with that series. And if you remember, I think the Queen shut us out in the first game, and it didn't really look too good. And the Devils came storming back. But I mean, that was probably one of the biggest goals that I've ever seen, in person, and
Oh yeah, absolutely.
something I'll never forget.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely never forget that. So I'm not worried about his legacy as a Devil. His legacy as a Devil is cemented because of that goal.
Oh, 100%.
So, and unfortunately, today's trade was business. It was all business.
Mm-hmm.
Someone had to go, and Henrique was the guy that came up in negotiations. I'm sure. I mean, we don't know how those negotiations went. We're not, we can't hear, and we won't know what those talks were. But the Devils were willing to part with him because we have such a glut of talent up front, but our defense is not where it should be. So
Yeah, 100%.
it was needed.
Yeah.
It was needed. But however, what this also opens the door for is, okay, here's Henrique, a club icon because of that goal. Everyone is on the table. No matter no one is safe on this team, which is phenomenal as a motivator, because no one's going to rest on their laurels and just be like, oh, cool, I'm here. I have a job and I'm playing. They ship out Henrique. Well, anyone can be shipped out. Corey could be shipped out. Andy Green could be shipped out. No one is safe. That's almost a good thing in a way, because everyone will be motivated to play well.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's really
and,
a business, guys.
No,
it's
yeah,
really
no.
a business. And if you think about it, and one thing that Ray Shero said when he talked to the press today after the trade was done, he talked about 2 more years, on the deal for a right-handed defenseman, just to solidify the blue line. And
which is needed.
With Henrique's contract coming up, do you want to spend that cap money on Adam Henrique? And I think that's what it boiled down to, with all these new guys and them being hot right now for a quarter of the season. He almost became expendable, which in the beginning of the season, I wouldn't think so. But while his stock is high and you get a great, a top 4 right-handed defenseman back in return, I would make that deal. Take the emotion aside, I would do that deal.
Yeah.
1,000. Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's what a lot of the reaction today from Devil fans was more emotional than anything else. I think everyone's going to end up seeing that this was a decent trade, or not a decent, but a really good trade. It was, it's a business, and emotions aside, Adam, they were able to ship him out and get a lot in return. And I hate to see him go. I talked to another one of my coworkers today. He hated to hear that he went. However, this was sorely needed on the back end. So it is what it is.
Now you think about it, this also, when you get to the trade deadline, if you look at the standings, it's so tight right now with, the Islanders, with Columbus. Now it's starting to get to the point where it's, 1 point is separating 4 or 5 different teams. So this wasn't a move that you could wait until the trade deadline to do. I feel like that this division is out of control, how good every team, it feels like every team is playing out of their mind right now, and then you have teams that aren't far off. The Rangers unfortunately have been playing really well lately, and they're not too far behind. And, you have the Capitals in this division, you have the Penguins in this division. You have to do something proactive now. And I think it's the right move. And, like we've said a few times, yeah, it's emotional, it sucks, but at the same time, it's a smart hockey move. You get a young defenseman. Keep that in mind too. I think he's like 26.
26.
And
he's 26, 26. Yeah.
Yeah, 26.
And he's been
successful.
Exactly. Been very successful.
Exactly. And
Guys,
you get him from.
Sorry, I just wanted to do our version of the podcast station identification. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast with Sam Wu, Beer Baron, and Shorts Guy in the Let's Go Devils group at Let's Go Devils Pod on Twitter and on our YouTube page. Sorry, I had to do a station identification. We got
That's fine.
We have a
That's
lot
fine.
of people chiming in. I just want everybody in the Facebook group. I'm looking at the monitor right now. Give us a big.
I'm trying to look over there now too.
If you're watching or listening in right now, we had one comment. For now, it's over. We want some participation with people watching and on Facebook Live. The Devils' big trade today. Definitely a pretty big one. Kind of came out of nowhere right before starting this road swing. Now, we did talk about in the last podcast, and Beer Bear will fill you in when Shorts Guy and I talked about it. And I talked about Joe Blandisi. Remember that, Shorts Guy? Saying that he's on the out looking in, and where's this kid going to go? He starts off in the AHL, the NHL, AHL, almost expendable. He was thrown in that trade as well.
Yep.
You have to give up quality players to get something back in return. And that's exactly what happened here today.
Yeah. No, agreed.
As much as emotional attachment to Adam Henrique and that one goal, trust me, and I completely agree with what you guys said before. There is no shame in wearing a Henrique jersey. Now he's off to the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, and I still see Stephane Matteau jerseys even nowadays. And for them it doesn't get old. Well, the Henrique jerseys don't get old. And just remember, now all three of us were there at Game 6, right?
Yeah.
And where were you sitting, Beer Baron?
Oh, I was in the upper bowl. The upper bowl. I was up top where the real fans sit.
The upper bowl.
Yeah, so were we. We're in the immortal 208. That was such a good time.
I don't know if you know.
I was sitting dead center.
I don't know if you know Beer Baron, but we had a celebrity sit in our section for that.
Oh, that's right, we did.
Yeah,
I forgot that.
Yeah, we had Jim Brewer in our section. So now, not only did we go have a Game 6 against the New York Rangers, and we're in rare form, we had a lot of comedy up top.
That was such a good time.
He was doing Ozzy impressions in the middle of the game.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Ranger fans look back. Oh crap! Is that Jim Brewer? Yeah, that's
right. Last row. Jim Brewer was in last row of the Prudential Center. The guy could have been in any luxury box he wanted. Could have been ice level. Where is he? He's up there, last row at all of us. It was
a man of the people.
Oh my gosh,
it was awesome. It was awesome. But that Henrique goal, I mean, I think we all piled on top of each other, started screaming.
Oh, that was awesome.
I legitimately almost broke my leg. My cousin who I went to the game with, this is no joke. My cousin who went to the game, I went to the game with, he ran to the bathroom at the end of the period. And I'm like, what are you, crazy? I'm like, overtime's going to start real quick and you better get back to your seat. So I'm standing there watching the game by myself, essentially, and it didn't happen too long into overtime. And when he scored that goal, I'm jumping up and down, and all of a sudden I turn my head, and my cousin comes barreling in to give me a hug, knocks me over the seats in front of me, and my leg got wedged between the seat and the concrete. And the way I fell, maybe because I had a few beers that night, that's the reason why my leg didn't break. But I have no idea how my leg didn't snap in half. He scooped me up, and I didn't
probably
have a
were
voice
never
for
happy.
3 days.
You're probably never happy.
The adrenaline, my leg could have snapped in half, and I would have been totally fine with it.
I think Sammy and I shared this story before on the podcast, but I'll share it again because we're talking about that night. The next day was Memorial Day party at my parents' house, and we all kept drinking all the next day. And we called every single bar around MSG, asking them, because let's see, that game was Saturday, so Sunday was the party. The next game would have been Memorial Day, Monday. So we were calling up every bar around MSG, asking them when they were opening for the game, if they were having any drink specials, what time should we get there? And every bar had about the same reaction. They're just like, the Rangers lost, and they hung up on all of us. We left dozens of messages at the MSG box office inquiring about Game 7 tickets all night long. The drunker we got, the more messages we left. It was phenomenal. We called so many places around MSG. It was great.
I think Google was
gosh.
about to break because we just did all our research at that moment of all
We
the
did.
of all the restaurants near MSG for Game 7, and we asked for Game 9. I think at one place. But hey, guys, I got a good question from Dan Grimes in the Facebook chat on the Let's Go Devils group. Do moves like this put Shiro in conversation for GM of the year? Great question. I think it's too early to tell right now, but I think
the result of our
See
season. Yeah,
how he pans out.
it's where we end up that'll put him in that conversation. If we go on to win it all this year, which would be awesome, obviously, then yes, these moves he's making and coming out of nowhere to have a start like we do, yeah, totally, he does. However, we're only a quarter of the way through. It's way too early to tell, but it's something to watch because like I said, it's at this point, everyone is up for being moved. So who knows what more what other moves are left for this season. The Devils may be very exciting to watch on deadline day. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
I think they're going to be buyers if they keep this pace up. You got to think that they will be heavy buyers, but at this point, what are they going to be looking for? Sorry, my wife is.
Hey guys, John Edwards writes, "God, that was so funny calling those bars." I had to pin that comment. I had to pin that comment. And sure, we trust your buddy Bill, Will Bauman, chiming in the Facebook group, the Let's Go Devils group. We got a lot of people.
We got a lot of people
watching
live right now. That's awesome.
Yeah, live right now, but tell us what you think. We'll read off your comments if they're intelligent or we think they're funny or
yeah, you know what?
We're in a cyberbully mode. We'll call you out.
I really do want to hear the reaction of all the listeners to this trade. What they feel about it. If they're mad, if they're upset, if they're happy. Because, like I said, from all my friends that are Devils fans and all the other stuff that I've read today, it's been either love it or hate it. No real in the middle. Like, oh, I don't know. So I'm definitely curious of what everyone else is thinking of this trade today. I want to know.
Well, I got some things to say about it. I was doing a little bit of thinking. About the trade, and I got my notes right here, so I'm gonna pull it up. I took it.
Oh man, so studious you, Sam.
Yeah, I actually did preparation for this special edition Let's Go Devils podcast, episode 8. The one
episode 8.
Yeah, episode 8. So episode 8 was actually slated for Sunday. We're still doing the show Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, now it's episode 9. Now it's episode 9.
I know we're making improvements here, but
episode haul.
There you go. Thank you.
But yeah, one thing I was thinking is Ray Shero knows how to spend money very well on players, and I felt that this was again another talking about money puck, if you want to call it that way. I called out Ray Shero last year. Spend some money, but slowly but surely, I'm respecting how he's spending his money, the picks he's getting back, the shrewd trades he's making, slowly but surely building this franchise back up, doing it his way. As much as I am a loyal Lou guy, it's a different era right now. And we talked about all the former Penguins that he was going after. What about all the former Ducks? He's bringing.
He has a great connection with Anaheim right now, for sure.
Yeah. We got a lot of former Ducks that are coming in. So it's
about time when they took Scott Niedermayer from us. I'm still not
Those
happy.
bastards.
Yes,
Yeah.
payback for that.
Just
This is
stop-
payback
I
for
hate
that.
bringing up the past, but I'm
You know
still mad about that. I'm still mad about, you know.
But you know
what's
what?
sad
Myers.
He was upfront and honest of
Jagir
why
getting
he
the
left. He
Carmen life.
wanted to play with his brother. He was upfront and
Yeah, but
honest,
then-
and I can deal with that.
Yeah, but then we brought Rob back to our team, and he still stayed in Anaheim.
Yeah,
I
well,
know.
what are you gonna do?
I mean, I know this sounds bad. I know. I know this sounds bad, but at the time, back in 2003, during the Cup Finals, then I don't know why, but I was so mad at their mom because it was that story that she really wanted Rob to win, and I know that
Oh, yeah.
sounds horrible because as a mother, you want your kid to
let
to
your brother win.
one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, play your
Yeah,
brother
come
win
on.
once. Come on.
I know, and I was. And
Probably
I'm
growing up in her
shamefully
household.
admitting that I was so
Yeah.
mad at that story. I was just so mad. I was even mad at that couple. Remember that couple? They got engaged, or they'll
Oh.
get engaged if the Ducks win the cup, but they wound up getting engaged too. I mean, I was so
Weird.
rude to them. They actually made it to the Meadowlands. I was so rude to them. I'm so ashamed of myself because at the time I was like, no mercy. I'll go after anybody that's anti-devil or wearing the other team's jersey. But now I can appreciate hockey fans as well. But anyway, getting back to my research of
right.
about this trade, the business aspect. But when do you think Ray Shero dumps Travis Zajak's contract as well in a trade?
That's a real maybe this trade deadline.
Yeah,
Could be
Maybe
trade
this trade
bait.
deadline. To
Could be
Winnipeg
trade
for
bait.
Trouba. Send them to Winnipeg. Get Trouba.
Let him play at
Send
home.
him and a couple of picks to Winnipeg. Get Trouba in return, and that way you're sending him home. It's a nice story. You send him to a place where he wants to play. And I love Travis Zajac. I'm a huge Zajac supporter, but I mean, how insane would that be? You send him out there, you get someone like Trouba back, who is, the last couple of years made it very clear that he's not really the happiest to be in Winnipeg. So, I mean, maybe giving them
anyone's on the table. Anyone's on the
point?
table now.
At this point,
Yeah. No emotion.
Anybody's on the block. Everyone's on the block right now.
We joke about that, Sam. We joke about that. So and so's on the block. He's on the block. He's on the block.
It's like playing the shell right now.
Everyone is on. Everyone's on the block.
That was an old 208 thing. It's like, Marty Brodeur would accidentally play, outside of the trapezoid. He's on the block. You're not concentrating.
Yeah, right.
But it was really about, we were joking around, but it's really about being accountable. And I think that's what Ray Shero is bringing, out with the Lou regime, in with Ray Shero right now. I love what he's doing. It took me a while to trust what he's doing, but the one person, and we early on in the Let's Go Devils podcast, before you guys, when I was just doing this, alone in my basement,
with the Mickey Mouse hat on
last year. Yeah. The Mickey Mouse, costume on, bitching about Ray Shero. It was actually Bill Clement on the show said that Ray Shero knows what he's doing. And he kept on saying it over and over and over. Now, Bill Clement, two-time Stanley Cup champion with the Flyers, played under Fred Shero, which is Ray Shero's dad.
Okay.
So Bill knows a little bit of something, and plus he knows, a lot about hockey. ESPN
Was the
analyst for
Devils
so many
broadcaster
years.
for a while.
Yeah. Actually, that's how he got the start on the business. He told me the story, how he got started. He started with the New Jersey Devils, believe it or not, for 5 games.
Yep.
ESPN saw him, picked him up, and the rest is history. So it all and guess who was running the media side? I believe part of the was Fred
Wow.
Shero.
One of the most underrated things about what Ray Shero has been doing with this team is, as much as I love Lou, and he's another, I have a picture of him up on my wall next to Jesus, and I think I pray more to Lou than I did to Jesus. But the thing about him is, like, Lou is so stuck in his ways. And even when he went to Toronto, like, yeah, look at Toronto, what they've become and what they have. That was more of like, in my opinion, maybe a Shanahan thing, and just brought Lou along. And then now Lou is like, fully vested into it and is finally adapted. Ray Shero has brought the Devils to a level where they can compete with, the Pittsburghs and the Capitals and in the Chicagos and, all these teams with everything is fast. Everything is up tempo. The puck is moving, which thank God we kind of shored up the defense, because as much as I love this up tempo hockey, we're taking, Corey Schneider is taking like 35 shots a game. Yeah. All those people that hate on Schneider and oh, I can't believe, we need to trade him and get this guy and that guy. Listen, the dude's been taking like 35 shots on average a game. I'm surprised he doesn't have, letting in 4 or 5 a game every game. But regardless, I think he's doing it the right way.
Yeah, and one of the moves that we talked about on Sunday, Beer Baron, was bringing Corey Schneider's old goalie coach in, and
that was huge.
And the comfort that's brought him.
Rolly the goalie coach is what we called him on the last podcast.
Yeah, right.
I'm loving the results so far, but keep it up, Rolly.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And I still got to make that e-bug shirt. Anyway, Ray Shero's only been with us since 2015, and he's made some big trades already. Prior to this, in the Lou era, think about the big monster trades that Lou made. I mean, they really weren't. The Kovalchuk one was the biggest, as far as I'm concerned, and then he brought Snyder over, and that was at the end. That was at the end of his tenure with the Devils. Mm-hmm. So, and here he is. Here Shero is here for, 2 years, 2.5. And he's pulling off these trades, and he's got no emotional attachment to Henrique and that goal in 2012 like we do. So, as far as he's concerned, all these guys are just. I hate to say it, but they're just employees that he can get rid of.
Yeah. You know what, though? He did say he did say that was the longest conversation he's ever had with anybody that he's had to trade before. And you almost kind of want to be a fly on the wall in some of these meetings, because I wonder what was being said between the two of them. And, he came out and jokingly said, hopefully Adam doesn't go on and have like a Hall of Fame career, because I'd feel terrible, trading away a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. But the fact that he gave Henrique that respect to have that conversation, I think is huge as a character,
Agreed,
trait.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to read some comments here.
Let's hear it, Sammy.
There's a lot of, one of the things I said last year for the Let's Go Devils podcast when we were in beta version, we're the most commented podcast in all of Devils hockey. I mean, seriously. Melissa Dawn writes, I'm glad I got to party with Henrique on Tuesday. That's good. So I pinned that one.
That's pretty awesome.
There we go. Yeah, I saw those pictures you posted, Melissa. Well done.
Yeah, very well done. She's also a big help to the Let's Go Devils podcast. So give me a little shout out to her. Yes,
she's the moderator. Well done.
She accepts people. She rejects people. She's like the Let's Go Devils podcast border patrol.
She's like a wingman. She's like a wingman for the podcast.
Yes. And now Melissa Dawn writes, he's not Hall of Fame material anymore. Oh, well,
I see that. I see that. She just said that.
Yes. Ray told him he was jealous of his stash, so he had to go. That's Andrew Inno. I'll pin that comment because I thought that was pretty funny. Will Bauman, I saw that, but I believe in Shero. He sparked us as a Devils team. Instead of rebuilding, let's win. I like it. I love that comment. Eugene Olson is now watching the Let's Go Devils podcast. Welcome. We got a lot of people just chiming in. Andrew Sloan, he wrote something. Nobody wants Zajak's cap hit. Yeah, unless you're a team that's
$4 million cap.
I think the only teams that would take Zajak's contract for real are teams that are trying to make it to the floor. And or maybe we're one of those teams that are trying to hover above the floor.
We still have plenty of room.
A lot of room to spend money.
All right. I have to read one of these comments because my friend Bobby, he's heartbroken with the trade. Henrique was his favorite player, but business is business. Don't worry, Bobby. Everything will be fine. I promise you that everything will be fine.
Yep, it's definitely a business. You know,
it is.
It's definitely a business, and if you look at it rationally, you absolutely have to like this deal. You know, if you're looking for now and the future, this is a great deal. This is a great deal. And besides,
absolutely a great deal.
And I have a little personal vested interest in this trade because he's got the same first name as I do, Sammy.
That's true. That's true.
I can't wait for those Sammy Chants. Remember Scotty Chants at the old Meadowlands? Marty Chants. Could you see Sammy scoring the game-winning goal? Right-handed defensemen come at a premium. You got to get them early on the trades.
And he's a former Lady Byng winner, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at his stats now. You know, he's had some decent point totals. His first year he played 8 games, 2 points. Okay, no big deal. Only 8 games. Next season, 2013-14, 48 games played, 21 points. 2014-15, 67 games played, 37 points. 2015-16, last season, 71 games played, 38 points. Excuse me, that wasn't last season. I don't know my dates. 2016-17, another 71 games played and 24 points. But his plus minuses, he's never finished minus. He's minus so far for this season going forward. But he's never finished minus. That's awesome as a defenseman. You know, and I agree with this trade. I think this trade was great. The emotional stuff aside, this was a trade that had to be made.
I agree. I'm looking into the Let's Go Devils podcast on Facebook, and Sam Martin wrote Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Let's go. If we could pull that off, because that dude needs to get out of Arizona, where he's kind of wasting away right now. I don't know what that would take a king's ransom to probably pry him out of Arizona, but I mean, God, you just think that this is what's kind of fun about this whole situation with Henrique getting traded out is, like you said, nobody's safe. Shero's willing to make moves. He's willing to like shift things around and bring people in. Who knew we were going to get Johansson? Who knew we were going to get Taylor Hall, for crying out loud? So yeah. I guess at this point, it's like you never know. You never know what he's going to do, and you never know like what I'm just going to throw something out there. This is a shot in the dark, random conspiracy. Maybe, just maybe, Wedgwood was sent to Arizona as the mole to tell him to come here. Yeah, right. Breaking news all over Twitter. Breaking news. You know, I'm actually friends with Scott Wedgwood on Facebook. I don't know how that happened. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's like, what is he doing nowadays? I'm going to say hi to my sister-in-law who's listening apparently now. Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, anybody have some shout outs? Hey, guys, just everybody in the Let's Go Devils podcast. Last season, we took calls. I was able to get our phone system to actually barely work today, so that may be coming in the future. I just want to make that announcement because I get that question all the time. When are you going to take callers? When are you going to take Today would have been the perfect day for it. Oh, yeah, but you know what? Remember that static you heard before? That was the phone line? That was actually, that was the phone system. Our engineers are coming in this weekend to kind of massage it a little bit, get the phones going. But we're going to be taking callers very soon. We'll have to learn how to screen you guys so nobody says, bad words on I'd say a PG-13 type. Are we PG-13? I don't even know what we're rated. Sure. So it depends on how many beers I have, but I mean, like I could push that envelope. We're rated D for Devils, right? I'll take that one. That one. Yeah. So, but honestly, guys, I'm gonna rip off that marketing phrase from the 76ers, which is also owned by the same ownership group, the Devils.
but trust the process.
Hey, you
Yeah.
have to
Trust
look what's happening down there.
ratio.
Everybody hated on that, what they were doing. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, real quick. What's up to my nephew Jack as well, who's listening? I thought I told him I'd give him a shout out. But it sounds crazy, and sometimes you hate it. And last year, when everybody was watching the Devils, get the crap kicked out of them, it was brutal at points, and you were like,
Oh yeah.
like how,
Yeah.
you watch, and there was games where I would turn it on and like, boom, 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 they get like 4 goals scored on them. I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm turning this off and like turn off the TV. But now it's like all that's starting to come around. Everything is starting
hope.
to.
Yeah.
There's hope.
Yeah, and
Great
we've
white
spoken
hope.
about this before on this program. The Devils may go down 2, 3, even 4 goals at times, yet there's still that hope and there's still the chance, and they've proven that they can come back from that deficit. They can also give away a 2-goal, 3-goal lead, which is also just as
Yeah, which drives me crazy.
Heart
Which hopefully
attacking-
this helps.
heart
Which hopefully
attacking
this
teams.
helps.
What the Devils
Yeah,
marketing
right?
team, what the Devils marketing team needs to do right now is get some cardiologist group, as a major sponsor.
What do you think they're-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, look at one of their major sponsors. The whatever the hell the hospital group that's their main sponsor now. What do you think that is?
RJW or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to
Or Barnabas Health or something.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Barnabas Health. There you go, Barnabas Health. I just want to say,
Yeah.
so just to read a couple more comments. Jeffrey Alexander Roth asked, "What AHLer do you guys see getting a shot now that Rico's gone, or do you see Hayes coming back into the lineup for now instead?" I think Hayes is too similar to Boyle. I said that 1,000 times. I'll say it again. Unless we're really desperate for people to come in, wait until Mikey McLeod gets healthy. Once Mike McLeod is healthy, I think he has a legitimate chance of cracking his lineup this year.
Yeah.
He showed a lot last year. I know he's young, but I feel like he's one of the kids that can step it up and bring it to the next level.
And this team now is willing
Quenneville.
to bring up these they're willing to bring up these young players and to give them a shot, because that's been the hallmark of this team all season long. It's all the young guys. Who would have thought at the beginning of the season that Henry could be traded because all the younger players are just playing out of their minds right now.
Exactly. And that's the best part is look at Gibbons and Coleman. I love those two dudes, and they came out of nowhere. Like Coleman, AHL.
Yeah, who?
Gibbons,
Who?
AHL.
Who is that?
Right.
Yeah, who are they in September? Who? Gibbons, Coleman, who?
They were
Hey,
just
you ever seen
pickle
the
juice
movie? You ever
drinkers,
seen the movie Major League? You ever seen the movie Major League when they're announcing the roster and they're like, "Who are these guys?" You know what I mean?
Into this trade, when they get healthy,
Oh,
they
they're
can be
yeah.
nasty.
Yeah.
When they get healthy, you know what? Watch the finals, us versus the Ducks.
Oh my God, how crazy!
How crazy
would
would
that be?
that be? That would be insane, because once they're healthy, the Ducks are going to be, a big force out west. This could be this could be them doing the same thing we're doing, just shoring up where they have holes, because they're defensively they're pretty solid. For him to go to Colorado, that's mountain time. So it's like us going to Chicago. It's no big adjustment for him. We're going to have the bigger adjustment going out west, so he can jump right in.
Which is kind of seems like which is the plan, and it's also the Hines has been saying that he's going to put him right on the power play, which
Ooh, good,
great, awesome. That second wave of the power play, keep Butcher on that first wave, and then insert him in that second wave of the power play, and you just think about it. Now Butcher has another guy that he can look up to and he can learn from a little bit more and kind of refine his game a little bit more too. I mean, this to me, like the more you think about it, the better this trade sounds.
No, I agree. So who do you pair him with? Do you pair him with Green? Do you pair him with Butcher? Do you pair him with Santini? I mean, because he's going to be a top 4. Who do you pair him with?
I would maybe Severson. Pair him with Severson. I off the top of my head, I can't remember who's a righty, who's a lefty. I don't know. It's a good situation to be in. It's a good situation to be in. You have somebody that you can insert into your lineup that's going to make an immediate impact. Lovejoy, who has not played bad. I have to say, Lovejoy has come back into the lineup, and he's had a few moments where you scratch your head at him, but he's not played terrible.
He's going to be on the outside looking in, though.
Expendable one.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the one that's going to have to take a seat. And